What's up, everybody? Welcome to Geology. So, one of the key themes of Earth's Fury is going to be the battle between these natural processes, these natural geologic processes that we're going to unwrap one at a time and figure out, and where humans have decided to build their cities or homes or communities or whatever it may be. And there's times where I feel really bad talking about some of this stuff because maybe people have experiences where they have families that are in these areas. And I'm not saying that any of these people are bad people individually, but I'm saying we've got to figure out a way to try to live on this planet where we understand what's going on. And it gets extra complicated when you involve layers of communities and then, uh, home ownership, and infrastructure right up through, not only physical concrete infrastructure, but government all the way to the top, right? So all the combination of all of this kind of makes a mess. And I think a lot of times the geology of these situations was kind of the afterthought, right? So there wasn't a geologist on board when they said, "Hey, here's San Francisco. Let's put a city here," right? A geologist might have said, "No, no, 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 bad idea, because there's this major fault right here." If they knew this at the time, right? But that's not how cities evolved. That San Francisco evolved because of shipping and industry and what was going on there for a whole lot of economic reasons. Then we've got to deal with the ramifications of building a city on a major fault, right? New Orleans is a similar situation. So this is a delta, and we'll be looking at all this through the year. We're not going to try to get into brass tacks today, but this is a delta where sediment is washed down through the Mississippi River, and it goes through these different channels at different times geologically. But we built this big city right here, and as this thing has grown and as the country has grown, it kind of ignores the natural processes that formed all of this land in the first place, right? In fact, right where I threw this pin, the way that these things work is that the water flows and it drops sediment as it does when it slows down, and that's what builds up the land, right? But then as that builds up, there's going to be other places where it's lower, and the water will want to cascade after that and go off and build another little section of delta. That's happening. I mean, right through here, they've been controlling it for years because of major cities and industry along the route of the Mississippi. If it were to go down a different river, all of that then gets cut off, and it just would be economically devastating, right? So, one of the ideas of the course, and I don't have the answers, is to ask the questions and raise the thoughts of what do we do? Do we tell everybody in New Orleans out? You're out of here. Go somewhere else. That's clearly not going to work, right? And that ignores the cultural heritage of New Orleans. Like, this is an important. I'm a big music guy. This is a big important city in the history of American music, world music, and how many other things, right? That's not going to happen. So what do we do to try to understand this balance between Earth's processes and where we live, and what should we do going forward? Where are there, there's cities that are, Cairo, Illinois is one that has really, like, okay, they don't have New Orleans culture or economy or anything, right? So it's kind of the bones of a city that are still there. When is it okay to say, should we, like, let a city go and figure it out? I don't know. I don't have any of these answers. It's really kind of what the course is about. And if it ever comes up, I got some bad comments one year. It was actually right around Superstorm Sandy, and we talked about it. It was like the next week, and some people on Long Island thought I was being kind of like mean about it. And I don't. That's not my intention at any point. My intention is that we try to unpack this and understand the geology of the scenarios in which we live. So this article, while it's a little bit dated, does a really great job. I've always loved it. I've used this for years. Does a really great job of unpacking that dilemma. So you're not going to have to get any geology out of this, but I'd like you to try to get some perspective out of this as to what do we do going forward. All right. So, like, perhaps it's a little bit dated in terms of politics. I think some things have happened with this. This is about the NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program, and there have been some changes since the time that this article came out a long time ago. Um, But again, I'm not concerned with that. I'm using this because this writer, whoever it is, came up with just did this article from the perspective of a lot of different like stakeholders in these scenarios, right? So what I'm going to do is have you read this. It's not that long. It says 7 pages, but there's a couple pages of graphics. It's not that bad, and a blank page. Look at that. And then do a discussion post. And in that discussion post, I'll give very specific instructions. I'll say, take the perspective of this or this or this. You know, a homeowner in these areas is one of them. And if you can read this article and then get something out of that and like take that perspective and say, you know, here's my statement based on what I saw in the article, you know, things about what happens to insurance. You'll be great. It's not that bad. All right. It's an easy first week assignment to like open the door for how difficult some of these scenarios are that we're going to talk about throughout the course of this term. Shoot me an email if you have any questions. Let's aim. I'll put the dates right in the assignment. You'll see that, and just shoot me an email if you have any questions. All right, everybody. Good luck.